Background courtesy of Photographs of a Mad Richard. Link in the description.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to pack the bandage here. For those of you who are uninitiated, I was in the hospital for 5 days with a terrible infection, and they had to cut open my thumb. And these scissors apparently are not very good at cutting bandages. So I have to change this every day. It's a bit stuck here. And they said ideally I would change this 3 times a day, but I've only been changing it once. And then the doctor said, or the nurse said rather, that's fine. They also said, however, I'm not supposed to use these things anymore. Alright. So this is actually supposed to soak for 10 minutes. So what can we talk about today? How about taco? Taco. I like tacos. Taco is a new economic term being thrown around for Trump always chickens out. Now, this is in regards to his trade war. And you've got, obviously, the two sides. You've got the diehard Trumpers who are saying, no, this is a strategy. Donald Trump is doing something. And you've got everyone else who's saying, this is insane. These trade policies don't make sense. And, Donald Trump is just hurting the little guy. Now, most economists I've seen have said that Trump's tariffs are a bad idea. They're not going to restore manufacturing to America. Look, I'm never going to buy an iPhone so far as I'm aware. This is a Motorola. So the idea of, let's make iPhones in America. Well, I don't know if they try to make Motorola's here, but if they did, I don't think I'd be too happy because my phone would be more expensive. And I'm the guy that, I buy a new phone whenever the old phone breaks or stops working for some reason. So the idea of making electronics in America, it doesn't really impact me too heavily, but, I really don't see us as returning to a heavy manufacturing base. That's just not something I see. It's possible. You really never know till you do it. People are saying Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. People said that the first term. People elected the man to a second term. So, look, if the answer were clear cut, you would think that there would be a landslide for president. It's kind of one of those things. And yes, part of the problem is that our educational systems aren't very good in America. And you could say that goes either way. You could say, educated people tend to be against Trump. The lower your education level, the more likely you are to be pro-Trump. And some people would say, education is biased. It tends to be liberal. The education I received was not very liberal. Okay, the people I received my education from were extremely devout Christians, and I went to a government school. So, at least on the college level. So there's that. I mean, one thing that we all do know, that we can all say with reasonable solidarity, is that the system is broken, and it abnormally hurts people. And that's why Trump is there, because he's viewed as somebody outside the system, and him being outside the system means that he's more likely... Oh, look, I'm getting a call. Hello? Hello? Well, that ate up some time. As I say, the system is broken. But, one of Hitler's tactics was... he said, create a lie so large that no one would ever believe you could deceive them on that level. And, a lot of us would say that, yeah, that's what Trump's done. And, he's actually said that he admires the German generals. He obviously doesn't know much about them. So, it's neither here nor there. And, we compare every politician to Hitler. That's one of those things. It's just something, it's a common courtesy in America is to compare our president to Hitler. It's just one of those things we do. And is it fair? I don't really think so. Until Trump starts an enormous war that kills millions of people, we really can't make that comparison too well. But obviously, you can compare anyone to Hitler if you want to. That's just how that works. But then there's this taco thing. I've weaved back to that, to use a Trumpian term. And, it's like, yeah, Trump's tariffs don't seem to be sticking. They seem to be volatile. They seem to be changing. They were put down by a court order. They were upheld temporarily by a court order. And now we're just seeing what's going on. And we don't know. Let's be honest here. The court isn't always fair. I can't make that as a determinant. And my news sources tend to be liberal. So, they're all going to say how terrible Donald Trump is. Although I've tuned into Fox News a couple of times and saw them do stories, and I was like, I apply logic to this, and the logic doesn't uphold it. So that's one of those things. Of course, then there's the further larger and more robust concept of I can really do very little to impact the Donald Trump tariff. What can we do but try to survive? It's going to do what it does. This is not about a public vote. This is about a court hearing at the moment. And the next time that we can really change things as people is the midterms, when the people will either vote in a Democratic majority and essentially nerf Trump, or they will keep a Republican majority and continue Trump at strength. And, who knows where we're going to be? There is no legitimate way of knowing for sure what the economy is going to do. It's entirely possible that when this whole thing is over, Trump's behavior will have ended in a net good. It's possible. I don't feel it's likely, but I could be wrong. I'm not an economist. Most economists say it's not likely either, but what are you going to do? We're kind of in uncharted territory here. Oh, this goes so slowly. Trump, of course, hates the nickname taco. He says he finds it very offensive. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, but the person that asked you about it didn't make it up. They just repeated it. And you could say, well, it's terrible that you asked that question. No, they're asking hard-hitting questions, and they expect honest answers. And that's kind of the world we live in. You know, everyone should be held accountable. That's how things work. Accountability is good. What does the future hold? I don't know. Who really does know? I mean, there's a non-zero chance that all this could work out in the end. Just like there's a non-zero chance that I could lose my thumb. We as the working poor, we just have to live our lives. And hope we can find our way in this world. I mean, somebody is going to go from rags to riches in the next year. Probably a lot of people. Because that happens. It happens every day. It could happen to me. And whereas I doubt that would have anything to do with Donald Trump, there's a non-zero chance that it will. You know, I have to admit that. Although, Trump's changing of allegiance is really worrying. Being in Israel, they have not gotten their hostages back. Trump promised there'd be hell to pay. Where's my hell, Mr. Trump? Where are my people being brought home? Where is an end to the suffering of the innocent people who are being used as pawns by Hamas? That is disgusting. YouTube would not like it if I showed this to you. Huge holes in my hand. Okay, so what the nurse said is I want to go from wet to dry. So there's the wet. Here's the dry. And understand something, that this wound packing kit is generic. It's not designed for my injury. It is designed for injuries in general. So that they have something that can cover a large basis. I can tell you, a lot of the swelling has gone down, but I mean, the thumb still looks disgusting, and I can't move it properly. Although they took a look and they said it is healing. Oh, please work, you damn scissors. These things are useless. Anyway. I know I have a knife here somewhere. I'm struggling with this moment. It's not easy to apply a bandage to yourself. And I've even let this one sit longer because I saw the doctor today and I thought he was going to take it off and look at it. But no. Anyway, I'll be toddling off to work soon. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'm Richard.
Danger Ducky says, this is your magic moment. A moment for you to do something that is good for the world. You can comment, like, and subscribe, because for every 1,000 subscribers this channel gets, they will buy one of these bracelets I am wearing. Each one of these bracelets I am wearing means that one pound of trash will be removed from the ocean. Cleaning the ocean is an expensive thing to do, and we need your help, so don't be trash. Comment, like, and subscribe, and get trash out of the ocean.